Drop a comment if people ever hated on your sign. No. Listen, I'm gonna talk about this, okay? Why it's silly. It's silly to hate a sign. I'm gonna tell you a little story. Why? So my chart. So my chart, I don't have any planets, anything major in Libra or Aries. And I have an asteroid. It's some asteroid. I have an Juno in Libra, and I think I have Eros in Aries or something very far removed, right? It's not a personal planet or anything, and outer planets or anything like that. So with the Libra energy, I do see how my Juno and Libra in my house placement does impact my life. I get that. But for the longest time, especially before I really studied astrology in depth, I did not understand Aries energy. I did not understand Aries individuals. I had some negative experiences, and I just didn't understand. We were very different. Aries, this kind of more free flowing, adventurous. Let's just try it. Just do things, action, do it in the moment. Let's just try this type of forging through. And Virgo, this analytical, I need to think about it. I need to process this. Let's communicate this. Let's research this. Let's look at this. Like, it's a very different energy, right? And again, I'd had some experiences early in life, just like acquaintances or friends or like things like that, where like they were just negative experiences that I had with Aries. And I was like, we're not compatible, Virgo and Aries. And if you look it up, they probably would say Virgo and Aries is not a compatible sign. It is very different. We are not the same. We are not the same modality. We are not the same element. There's very few things you can link Aries and Virgo to. Except I definitely think there's a lot. I think both can be good with self-determination, because Virgo is okay with working a little bit isolated. Virgo can be okay with processing things on their own, and Aries is kind of independent in their own pursuit. So I guess that's a loose thing that you could say they're similar, the way they're similar. So now, I think if you would have asked me years and years and years ago, like, oh, would you ever date an Aries? I probably would have said no. Now, again, this is my younger self. Obviously, I've been in a long-term relationship with an Aries. And I have an Aries sun. And my other child, Libra, she has an Aries rising. And in my chart, I use Placidus for my chart, Aries and Libra are intercepted, meaning, according to what an interception is in a chart, those are energies that you really don't understand all that much. You see what I'm saying? When you see an interception in a chart, those signs don't rule any cusp. Those signs don't influence any house directly. So even though you might have transits that come through any time with those signs, the house itself is not really recognizing that, calibrating that energy as for feeding that house. You get what I'm saying? So I have an interception with Aries and Libra. And so, again, never really understanding the energy when I was younger. Like, Aries, like, whoa, y'all not planning that? What you doing? In Libra, whereas I think Virgo and Libra can vibe, the intellectual level, but Virgo's not understanding this need for socialization that Libra has. Like, I used to know Libra, and Libra, what I didn't understand was like the Libra wanted to be liked. Now, again, I don't think every Libra does this, but there is an aspect to this Libra. I don't like conflict. But I'm like, Libra, you don't even like that person. Why do you care if they like you? What? Like, I didn't understand Libra or Aries energy. Again, I vibed more intellectually with the Libra energy at that time. And it had a little slight disconnect from Aries, but I'm just like, I've not had any connections. I think that's what it was. I hadn't had any genuine mental connection at that time to Aries. And so what I could have done, and again, I did in the back of my head say, I don't know if I like this sign for me in my personal life. I did not go on rants. I didn't go on social media saying I hated Aries, things like that. I don't know. I just think I'd rather talk about what I like as opposed to ranting about what I don't like. And if I ever rant about what I don't like, I'm always going to tie it to a deeper purpose. Like, even on my channel, if I do a video where I'm ranting, I'm always going to focus it back to what people should be doing. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, fast forward, I'm in a long-term relationship with an Aries. I have children with my Aries, and I have an Aries son who's amazing. And my daughter's amazing too. And she's a Libra. So that's why if I would have sat there and said, I hate this sign, I'm never going to talk to this sign, I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't end up with the family that I have now. And a lot of times you cannot play around with fate. Get to know people, and then, it's important, get to know people, get to know them. I know there's a we're curious, and we meet someone, we're like, what's your birth chart? But you might need to just experience that person first before you start trying to, because now you're going to create all types of theories in your head. And instead of getting to know this person, you're going to be obsessed over, well, his Mercury is here and his Cancer, his Saturn and and you're going to create all these theories about this person that you don't know if they're really true. So I would say charts are great to know. Now, luckily at the time I wasn't into charts, so I wasn't looking at his chart like, ooh, what is, and my Aries is not all Aries. I mean, he's Aries sun, that's it. So we have some things that are similar, not similar, but like we both have Venus in water signs. His moon in Aquarius, I have Jupiter in Aquarius. And, sometimes you can use Jupiter to determine luck or your relationship. Jupiter is not relationship, but you can use Jupiter in conjunction with Venus. And my Venus is in the 11th house. 11th house is ruled by Saturn, Uranus. It's got Aquarius energy. So, that's whole synastry thing there. But what else? Sagittarius, I'm a Sag moon. He's a Sag rising. Our Mercuries are in fixed signs, Taurus and Leo. So that's where the communication thing is important. We can vibe really well. And I'm not talking about my relationship this whole video, but we vibe well on certain topics. But when it's topics of like us asserting ourselves, that's where the Mercury fixed energy battle can happen sometimes. But anyway, point being, it would have been really silly of me. Also, I have Juno in Libra. He has Mars in Libra. It would have been really silly of me to say that I was not going to date you because you're this sun sign, without looking at the other things, and also not obsessing over the things. And I had the opportunity to really experience the relationship before I started using astrology and looking at it more deep, in a deeper way. So it is kind of silly for people, and especially people that you guys might know, who are like, oh, I hate this sign. And it's like, I just did your chart. You have your moon in Gemini, but you hate Geminis. You hate Leo, but your North Node is Leo. Like, and the thing is, I might do a video on this one day. I might not, I don't know. But candle magic. So anyway, I don't want to go into depth, but candle magic to me is what I do or whatever. It's manifesting, right? You need to use, I do it through moon signs or cycles of the moon. You need all the signs to manifest the things that sign brings. You cannot avoid things. You can't say you hate Aquarius but want change in society. You can't hate Virgo but want somebody to analyze your paper for you. Or you can't hate Virgo but not want to analyze society and politics. You can't hate something. You can't hate Aries but then want to start a business and be entrepreneurial and have courage and stuff like that. You can't hate Cancer but then want your home life to be good, because you have channeled Cancer energy to do that. Even if you have Cancer, you're trying not. You can't. You can definitely not vibe well with certain signs. And from afar, there are definitely signs where I'm like, you don't get along. Because it's deeper than that, though. When we don't get along, it's a reason, right? So I don't want to negate the fact that there might be things that people you don't vibe with, and their sign might be why. But I wouldn't completely avoid that sign altogether. It's like these, some of these women, I've seen some of them people talking about like, oh, I don't want my child to be this one sign. Should I get a C-section and have my child be another sign? First of all, the whole birthing process is it's natural, but it's so complex and anything can happen. I wouldn't mess around with that. Unless you have to get a C-section or you have to have a child at a certain time, I would not mess with that. And you also might be messing with someone's fate. You are not your child. You are bringing your child to this world, and that's important, but you are not your child. Your child gonna have their own path. And even if a child is born prematurely or whatever the case may be, that's just the happenstance of what happened. That just had to happen. You know what I mean? But you deciding, and sometimes I guess you can, like if you're getting induced, you might be like this day or that day. I get that. But when people are like, hey, I want to have my kid a whole week early or a week, because I don't want them to be a certain sign, I would definitely not do that. That is really, in my opinion, messing with someone's fate. When you are intentionally trying to make your child a certain sign. And what if that child is the sign what if your child's born during a sign you don't like, but the rest of their chart is compatible to yours? And your children can sometimes teach you things and you teach them things. The fact that I have an Aries and a Libra, and that's not in my chart. Like I have no major placements in either of those signs. I'm learning how to understand that energy, and they're learning my energy and the things that I'm able to teach them, which might not naturally come to them. And so in a way, they have, I mean, if you want to look at the, this in a universal way, maybe they have the parents they're supposed to have, because Virgo, I'm teaching them organization. My son's he's younger, he's a little bit more organized. My daughter is like, she's very analytical, but also free spirited, and really into the things she's into. But it's like, order. Did you fix that? You didn't even close that. What did It's like, and again, I do think my Virgo traits come out more as a parent than in any other aspect of my life. Almost not true. It comes out a lot in work. It comes out a lot in my work. But I also think as a parent, like, my Virgo comes out because it's just like, I have to show you order and structure. You're in the household. Like, you can't just leave that open. Like, but also me also nourishing their positive traits. If you're an Aries, I have to now respect that and respect the energy of what my children have. Their default energies are important, and I can teach them to hone certain things in and when to use certain energies and so forth as they grow older. But that is the importance of what I'm saying. Is like, in life, you have to sometimes work with what you have. You can't control everything. With astrology, you cannot control everything. And some people are gonna miss out because they're like, I won't date a Gemini. I won't date an Aquarius. I won't date a Scorpio. You might have to work on their attributes, but if the person's rest of their chart or the experience you've had with them is positive, maybe your synastry is really good and you really should be with that person, right? And so that's the thing I would just caution with people saying they hate certain signs, because that sign might show up in your chart or it might show up in your children's chart, and now you have to work with it anyway. You see what I'm saying? You don't avoid certain energies, you learn how to work with them. That's what I've done. And I mean, I'm a teacher, so I've had to do that anyway. Whether an energy vibes with me or not, I'm learning how to work. What motivates this sign? And that's what I'm doing in my interpersonal connections with individuals, with children, with adults, whatever. That is what I'm doing. What's this energy? How do I motivate it? Right? How is it similar maybe to mine? And how do I inspire this energy? Or how do I use this energy if I'm doing my personal life and I'm doing my own manifestations? How do I use this energy that's not in my chart? Because yes, I need Aries energy, even though it's not in my chart. Libra energy, I need it, even though it's not in my chart. So that's what I just wanted to say about that. Again, please like this video, hit subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I'll see you guys later.